Hello everyone, my name is Lowko and welcome to a best of 3 series of StarCraft 2. What I've got for you today is a qualification match from the GSL Code S, which is considered to be the most prestigious tournament over in South Korea. Now, spotting right here in game number 1 on a map called El Sayani, playing with the blue Protoss pieces, we have none other than Classic. And his opponent in the opposite corner with the red Zerg drones, he goes by the name of SHIN. These two have been playing against each other for a very long time. In my mind, it must have been about a decade, so I decided to look it up, and literally the very first time that these played was during a IEM Season 8 Singapore qualifier for Korea and Taiwan back in 2013. So it's been more than a decade since these two first matched. Interestingly enough, after that one qualification match, either a League Elect doesn't have all of the matches logged, but I'm pretty sure it is accurate. After that 2013 game, they didn't play against one another for 6 years. And now they're back. Now, historically, in case you're interested, these two have played against each other 27 times, with about 60% of the games going in favor of Classic. Of course, though, this is a very different game than it was about a decade ago, but it is very cool. Obviously, SHIN then, right? He used to go under the nickname of Ragnarok, in case you haven't watched a lot of StarCraft 2. He basically decided to change his ID some time ago, so he used to go under the nickname of Ragnarok. These days, he is known as SHIN. Very good Zerg player, but apparently Classic historically has had his number. I would say these days, though, in my mind, this is probably about a 50-50. I feel like SHIN and Classic are right around the same skill level, with maybe a slight advantage for Classic. But of course, at the highest level, the margin for error is absolutely tiny. So yeah, you're gonna have to play a clean game. Classic, though, generally speaking, very happy to play that macro match. SHIN, certainly capable of a little bit of everything, so we'll have to find out together exactly what ended up going down. It's gonna be a quick cybernetic score here, of course, for Classic. No photon cannon rush shenanigans. I'm assuming we're gonna see a Stargate right here. Ah, come on, man. Why you gotta do me like that? Why would you put it over there, Classic? If you want to make oracles, it's closer to your opponent's base if you... Anyways. I guess he doesn't care about that one additional second of potential buzzing time on the other side of the map. Plus, of course, there are some advantages of positioning it over there. In case your opponent decided to get cheeky with, like, I don't know, a Nidus Worm or a Zergling run by or anything like that. It's a little bit easier to defend a Stargate located right over there. Honestly, though, truthfully, the reason why he probably planted it over there is because he pulled the probe. He's like, dang it, I'm already 150 gas. I guess I'll just put it right here. Closest location where I could possibly be planting it in the quickest spot where I can be bringing it up. Alrighty, good old Oracle opener. Triple hatch right here for SHIN. SHIN, by the way, apparently now playing under the ID of GG SHIN. He did join a new esports team recently. I believe they're called... Yeah, the Gaming Gladiators. Gaming Gladiators. Gaming spelled G-A-I-M-I-N. I don't know if they are a very well-known esports team. I have no clue. I don't really follow other esports that closely, but at least in StarCraft 2, SHIN is their only player. Pretty cool, actually. There have been a bunch of teams recently that have been dabbling into StarCraft. Really nice to see this game still going strong, even after all these years, right? Like, I've literally seen pro gamers grow up. I remember, for example, the very first time I saw Raynor and Clem. So we do have the Oracle flying in right now. Let's see if it can get some damage done. There is no Spore Crawler, but there are 2 Queens. The first time I met them was at WESG in Barcelona. And I think they must have been like 14 at the time. They were literally kids, already incredibly good at the game, stupid fast, like ridiculously quick. For some reason, a lot of people think APM is something that you learn over time, right? Your actions per minute. They do tend to trend upwards the more you play StarCraft, but there's no denying that some people just naturally are incredibly fast when it comes to pushing buttons quickly. We do have now 2 oracles going to town. Yeah, okay. All right. I was gonna say, I'm glad he recovered there. Half killing 3 drones is not quite optimal. There's this Twilight Council together with the Forge on the back of this too. Honestly, though, since this has been a pretty greedy game here from SHIN, I don't think he really minds. He did make a Spore Crawler here, I guess, in the natural and in the main base, but he still doesn't have one over at the third. He's been powering out a bunch of workers. I don't think he really cares that much about losing 5 drones, although, of course, you would rather not lose any. Interestingly enough, the timing right here on these adepts does seem a little bit late to me. Usually these adepts start roaming the map in conjunction with the first oracles already, but Classic apparently mostly decided to dodge them for now. The adepts, though, do create a bit of a distraction, and I wouldn't mind seeing a spore crawler here eventually, Shin. Protoss, of course, always looking for about a dozen worker kills. If you can get about 10... life, generally speaking, is very, very comfortable. Ooh, it's Overlord drops right here for Shin. Okay. Usually Overlord drops at this particular timing would mean a Queen March, or I guess a Queen drop towards the other side of the map. Not a super popular build in the current meta, but it's usually really strong if you don't really take any damage early on. So if you lose, like, say, 2 workers early on as the Zerg player here, and you don't really take a whole lot of economical damage, usually that is, yeah, we're just gonna go for a full all-in. Yep, that's exactly the plan. There's a drop alert coming up. We have non-stop Roach Ling production right now. Normally, this build is super strong when Protoss doesn't deal a lot of damage early. I would say that Classic should be a-okay against this sort of stuff, but it's still very finicky. Plus, he hasn't really been chrono boosting out very much of anything. We've got 3, almost 4 chrono boosts available. Classic, we really need to get these upgrades done ASAP. Alright, well, here comes Brenda, Margaret, Lily, Susan. Karen didn't yet come. Yeah, Karen's, you know, forced to protect at home. Okay, we do get a bit of a wraparound, so the recall has already been used. Oracles are coming back home. We have a 4th Nexus coming up, Classic. We don't need a 4th Nexus. Now we finally continue chronoing, but those upgrades are supposed to be done already. Zerglings are getting a really nice wraparound. Oracles have been dealing damage on the other side of the map. That's nice and all, but they don't actually have a lot of energy left over here. And with an attack that really isn't supposed to work particularly well, it looks like Shin is starting to break through. Complete misread of the situation right here by Classic. Going on autopilot, thinking, yeah, I don't really need my blink upgrade too quickly. I'm just gonna make a 4th Nexus. We're gonna keep playing this very nice game, right? Where I'm just gonna be attacking you and you're not gonna be attacking me at all, right? We're gonna keep playing that, right, Shin? And then Shin is like, you know what? No. Even though this is quite a suboptimal follow-up here for Zerg most of the time after an early game where you deal a lot of damage, as the Protoss that is, well, he still decided to bring it in regardless. Okay, interesting ball over there on the right side. He's gonna try and just break the front. Yeah, Shin at this point is smelling blood in the water. He is making 12 drones on the back of this. Zerglings do get hotkeyed back towards the bottom of the map. We have a Queen drop going to town inside of the main base. Is this still recoverable right now for Classic? 69 supply may be considered nice by some of you, but I think it's quite suboptimal. Yeah, I mean, that pylon is gonna get shut down too at this rate, and at that point, there's really no way for Protoss to really continue arming. So, like, army production rather. So this is a classic example. The Protoss player Classic getting maybe a little too comfortable. It turns out that the famous Mike Tyson quote is also true for StarCraft 2. Everybody's got a plan until Brenda, Susan, Lily, and Margaret show up in the main base through a dropper lord and roaches, ravagers, and lynx knock at your front door. Truer words by Mike Tyson have never been spoken. He's a big fan of StarCraft, right? He used to play it a lot, I think back in the 70s and the 80s. I don't even know how old Mike Tyson is. I have no idea. How old is Mike Tyson? I have no clue. He's 57 right now. Okay, yeah. So I guess I could be right. Yeah, fair enough. Alrighty, so what exactly is the plan right here, Classic? Because truthfully, I think you had that one. Like, it's one of those games where you start cruising, right? Like, you're going like 100 kilometers an hour, you roll the window down, you kind of hang your hand out of the window, you're kind of making little wavy motions with your arm, you got your sunglasses on, and you're kind of just cruising. And then at some point, you don't look at the road for a little bit, and suddenly, well, Brenda's there instead of an Overlord. It's a little bit annoying sometimes, but these sort of things do happen at the highest level. That was a very Dark-esque move, by the way, from Shin. Either Shin is just not very comfortable playing the macro game right now and he just wanted to get it over with, which is fair enough. But that was a very Dark-esque move, because theoretically, that build really didn't make a lot of sense. But strategically, well, it clearly ended up working out when Protoss isn't paying very close attention. Alrighty, Classic. What is the plan going to be? Should be seeing that gas guys are coming up here in just a moment. Well, right now it's becoming very late. What exactly is the plan right here, Classic? Ah. I think... Yeah, that is what it is. He's faking a Stargate opener. So this looks like a Stargate opener right now for SHIN, but this is in fact a single gas robo facility opener. Single gas openers at the highest level of StarCraft 2 are incredibly uncommon. There's really only one option right now for Classic. I mean, I guess he could technically go for a really quick third Nexus, but I would imagine that this is just going to be like an 8-gate all-in. Now, normally you'd go for a Twilight Council as well, but he hasn't actually gone for the Twilight Council, so I think this is just going to be mass gateway unit. He'll probably, yeah. Really cheeky. He should stop making probes, if I'm correct here, at 32. So 32 is perfect to fully saturate a mineral line in the main base as well as in the natural. Pretending to go on over towards the third base location as well. I think he's probably going to build up to like 7 or 8 gateways and just make a load of stuff on the opponent's side of the map. Yeah, here we go. So he's pulling out a gas right now at 123. Not exactly sure why we specifically mined 123. That is a bit funky. But this is Classic going for, well, a classic all-in. Again, not something that we very frequently see. That's for an Immortal. That's what we're doing. Okay. So he wanted to go for a single Immortal after the Prism. So it's going to be 7 gateways in total. Unless I can't count. It should be 7. We're going to check it in just a moment. When the gateways are still transforming to like their next mode. I guess warp gates aren't done yet. He's not chronoing it out either. Oh. Yeah, you should actually. I think that's brilliant. Now, this is a fake. So, Classic knows that there's an Overlord on that pillar. He must have seen it coming in. And this is one of those locations where if SHIN does not fly the Overlord forward and double checks... Oh my god, he still plays with the freaking Diva announcer. If he doesn't double check for that third gas right over here, SHIN is going to be in a world of trouble. He queues up drones. Oh no, he actually just queued up a load of workers. If you make a couple more SHIN, you're super duper dead. Okay, he does start up army right now because he sees a lot of units coming across. But honestly, I think as SHIN... You can't really go over like 38 workers. Look at that, 7 zealots get warped in. 32 probes. This is a complete all-in right here by Classic. But what is there currently to fight this army? There's nothing. I love that cheeky little fake gas geyser so much. He should have probably canceled it. But SHIN, upon seeing that gas, decided to power up another round of drones. And he is paying for those drones dearly right now. One of the oldest Protoss tricks in the book. Well, it does work again. Or as Mike Tyson once famously put it, everybody's got a plan until it's a 32 probe all-in and suddenly there's 7 zealots being warped in on the other side of the map as an Immortal shows up together with a Prism. Yeah, that is honestly one of my favorite all-time Tyson quotes. Very relatable. Yeah, that's really something you can easily apply in your own personal life as well. Cheeky little all-in right there from Classic, though. I'm actually a big fan of that all-in. As much as I like it, I absolutely hate playing against it because it's so difficult for Zerg to scout, right? So the move right there for SHIN was to move that Overlord slightly further forward. And obviously he should have gotten an idea because it looked like a Stargate opener and like 4 minutes into the game, we still didn't see a Stargate opener, right? And at like 4:20, you got to start thinking as a Zerg, like, hey, wait a second. There's no way my opponent is this bad, right? That there's still no Oracle on my side of the map. That really doesn't make a lot of sense. So, yeah. There were certainly signs of something being a little bit fishy there. But SHIN did not quite realize what was going on until a little too late. Someone might even say that he had a plan until he got punched in the mouth. I have no idea who said that, though. No clue. Could have been anyone, really. Alrighty, it's gonna be a Cybercore once again. And Lucci, look at that, insane timing. Second gas guys are coming up at the conventional time. Second pylon also inside of the main base. I think I'm gonna do a magic trick. You guys wanna see a magic trick? Watch this. There's gonna be a Stargate build right next to this pylon. See? And then that Stargate is going to finish and he's gonna queue up an Oracle. See? And then the Oracle is available right now. All right, awesome. I'll be your StarCraft 2 magician for the day. We're going to be using that Oracle to try and get a third base going here relatively safely. Looks like there is a Adept out together with a Stalker. No second Adept, interestingly enough, so this is a really nice and quick third Nexus. That was like 3 minutes and 45 seconds. Okay. Queen's trying her best, but ultimately 2 little drones. 2 of their children ended up dying. It's a little sad. But no worries. Brenda, Margaret, and Lily, they have terrible short-term and long-term memory. So they've already forgotten. It's a beautiful thing. Alrighty. So. What is the follow-up going? 6 Overlords? 6 Overlords. Shin. Yeah, that's terrible. That's actually really bad. This man is making Overlords for the next game. Does he not realize that this is a best of 3 series? Yeah, now he's all the way prepared until 98. That's actually really quite bad. All jokes aside, like, that is a significant blunder. Obviously, being supply blocked sucks, but one thing that I don't really highlight nearly as often as I probably should, making too many supply structures, is also pretty bad. I wouldn't say, yeah, it's probably not as bad as being heavily supply blocked, but... Okay. Bzz, 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 bzz. 6 additional drones end up going down. Oracle in the main base does reveal that indeed the Nexus is coming up. There's one guy in the comment section very excited that I said reveal. I used to say there's one Oracle that goes into the main base and revelates. Or it revelates the lair timing. Which I know is technically not correct English. And you, sir, madam, whoever, you have pointed out to me many times that there's no such thing as a it's not possible, because the skill is called Revelation, and what it does, it reveals, right? The thing is, I feel like revelating is more accurate, because it indicates that the ability was used, and you know exactly what I'm talking about, so I feel like we should make it a verb like that, and I feel like I should be allowed to use it like that, but I did say reveal this time around, just for you. I don't know if it's gonna stick, though. It's gonna be Aspire. Today's cast is something, huh? Anyways, it's gonna be Aspire right here for Shin. I didn't sleep all too well. I think I slept like 6 hours, which for my normal... I normally sleep quite a bit more than that. I didn't really sleep all too well, and apparently this is what you're gonna get. You're gonna get a very snarky Lowko. Yeah. Anyways, tomorrow I'll try and cast the game off of 4 hours of sleep. Let's see how that goes. It's gonna be a Spire opener right here by Shin, with a transition towards good old roaches, though, in the end. So this first Stalker influx is gonna be a little bit scary. We once again have a gajillion Chrono Boost build up right here by Classic. What is it with these Chrono Boosts, Classic? I don't really love that. I really think, you know, if Zerg players are so keen on their energy on the Queens, right? And if Terrans are forced to use their energy on the Mule situation and scans as much as they can, I feel like we can also expect Protoss to use Chrono Boost a little bit more effectively, because even at the highest level, yeah, we just kind of see a Chrono Boost every once in a while, but it's not nearly as... it's not as deliberate, you know? It's more or less like, oh shit, okay, I guess, yeah, sure. Chrono Boost, right? That's kind of what it feels like to me. I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit more deliberation as far as that goes, but... Anyways, rather than going for the Nexus at the 12 o'clock position, it looks like we've got ourselves a Nexus over here, in that very annoying to protect area of the map. I actually don't like this spot very much. Interested to find out why Classic decided to go for it. Now he seems to realize that this is indeed going to be Mutalisk play. He hasn't seen the Spire, but he must have had a glimpse of them, because either that or he just realizes that something is a little bit off here. Stalkers are already positioning. We've got ourselves a Phoenix coming up. I think these Mutas are gonna get shut down, and they're gonna get shut down hard. Honestly, if they get a couple probe kills, I think you should be pretty happy. Shin, in the meantime, though, has been making loads of roaches. This is a very small clump of Mutas, of course. So this group of Roach Ravager Ling is actually quite terrifying. Storm is just about to finish up as well, by the way, here for Classic, which is going to be amazing against Mass Muta play. But luckily right here for Classic, I guess, it is not going to be Mass Muta. I say luckily for Classic, it's also lucky for Shin here. The Shin didn't double down on a Muta play. But I also think no Protoss really loves playing against Mutas. Nice corrosive biles right there on that battery. Is there enough right here for Zerg to break through? Protoss is getting quite a bit of value right now out of their Stalkers, it seems. And those Oracles up in the air are still putting in the work. Okay, that warping got cancelled, though. Lovely work here in the end by Shin. Killing that 4th Nexus is really good. Yeah, the problem that I have with this particular expansion is that it's just so close to the Zerg. So, like, the reinforcements of the Zerg just arrive quicker, right? And I wonder if he would have taken that base at the conventional location, if it would have stayed alive. Because we're like half a warp in away from that being held. Obviously, it would be a very different story, because the Zerg army would have to travel significantly further. Do we have a battery over here? We do, but we backed up in the wrong direction. Or at least we didn't back up far enough. Okay. Wonderful position right here for Shin. Really, really good spot for him. He needs to be careful about the counterattack. He doesn't have like a hive or anything coming up, but considering the Muta opener fell flat on its face, I think this is about as good as you can really ask for here for Shin. Classic is gonna agree with me and make a Nexus now at the 12 o'clock position. I think that is a much better choice. Lurker play is on the horizon, it seems. We should be seeing the hive start up here as soon as the infestation pit finishes, and then a lurker den. I'm gonna guess it'll go up right here. This is the spot, right over here. Yeah, right over here. Right. Oh, come on, man. Can't catch a break. If I just keep playing this silly little game with myself whenever I cast games, at some point, I'm gonna be correct. There's a load of locations and a load of spots where I could be wrong, though. Yeah, you could quite literally put the lurker den anywhere. Yeah, turns out right over here is as good as any, really. Maybe this is even better than right over here, because if a Zealot warping goes into the main base, you wouldn't just use, you wouldn't just lose it. It's kind of, it's actually a good choice, actually, but should, yeah. In the meantime, on the other side of the map, it's going to be a Fleet Beacon transition here, together with still double Immortal production. Fleet Beacon is a little sketchy. I think this is going to be straight for a Mama ship here, more so than Skytles. Because transitioning from this particular ground army into a Skytles-based army, when you're not really economically and tech-wise in that great of a position, it's kind of difficult. I think if Classic goes straight Skytles from here, he's going to have a lot of issues against the counterattack that will be coming here when Shin finishes up all of these upgrades that he's aiming for. Because, well, the Hydra upgrades are going to hit significantly harder than, you know, 2 carriers will. Obviously, if Shin does not attack, though, and Classic does manage to go up to, like, okay, we're gonna just go straight carrier. If he does end up getting, like, 8 carriers out, life is gonna be really quite nice for him. But I am gonna make the assumption here that Shin is not gonna sit back for that long. He's gone for 9 lurkers. They're coming up right now. He's trading out a bunch of roaches, purposefully losing them so he has more supply available to morph even more of those lurkers in, because he was maxed out for quite a bit. There could be a weird scenario, I guess, where Shin doesn't have enough anti-air available. But these roaches are willing to trade out once more. Yep. I mean, you don't want to really give them up, but I don't mind it. Taking the gases right here at the bottom of the map as well. I think it's a really good choice. And this is going to allow him a ton of gas income to make even more roaches and hydras. How many immortals are we on? It is 9 immortals. 9 immortals is not to be underestimated. Obviously, with good storms, this is still very possible as well. I don't know why Shin is going up this ramp. I feel like... Yeah, there's a lot of static defense over there, but I don't think you can... That is a lot of immortals, actually. My god, we're gonna go up to 11 immortals here. There are no Archons, which makes this all a little bit strange. But you know what? Classic has managed to max out here once again. Okay. Problem is, you can't really fight this army very well. You can have a lot of immortals here, but if the lurkers manage to siege up in a good position, it's really difficult to break. We need to see some good storms. We preferably also need to have some Archons ready to take the damage. Those carriers are contributing basically nothing. Okay, well, maybe I shouldn't be a non-believer. There is a cheeky little Zealot run by on the other side of the map, getting some damage done. They finish charge in the middle of that fight, which suddenly forces those Hydras to run. Imagine if there was a mothership here, though. I think a mothership is much better here than carriers. Or like a mothership with 2 Archons. That could have been the same, you know, cost. Alright, Corruptors are coming. Obviously, Shin, like, my main problem here is just the timing of everything. But then Shin also already had a Spire done. Because he, well, played Mutas, right? So it's not like Classic right now has played this, haha, got you now. You're gonna have to make a Spire before you can fight me again type of card. That's not really what's happening here. Because Shin immediately fired up a load of Corruptors. And he is ready to go for another attack here in just a moment. This is going a little bit better for Classic, though, than I thought it was going to be. I thought he was just going to get overwhelmed there, but he actually managed to hold on quite nicely. 3rd Stargate coming up. He's really investing into a ton of very expensive upgrades here. It's a bold move. Let's see if it pays off. Just trying to buy some time with these Zealot run-bys, which is good. One addition that I would really like to see for Shin here is a couple of Vipers. I think Vipers would be an amazing addition to abduct those carriers and potential for a mothership and whatnot. Maybe even the Immortals too. Alrighty. Apparently Classic feels like this is the time to go for a move out. Still no Archons here in the mix at all. Yeah, and he's gonna be forced to back off basically immediately. New Nexus coming up on that previous 4th base location. There's an expansion right next to the current 4th base location, but apparently that one is not attempted yet, as we do have some big storms going down. Here's the Corruptors, though, coming in from the left side of the screen, and those carriers are completely pointless. Now we're gonna recall? After we lose most of it? Yeah. It's like Classic didn't realize that there was a Spire, even though he played against Mutas. Now Archons are starting to show up, okay. Yeah, Corruptors are quite beefy units, though. Storm or not, Archons or not, Stalkers or not, they can still kill those carriers easy peasy. Obviously, in large numbers, carriers are really strong against that sort of clump of units. But when it's only a few here and there, and they end up going down, yeah, 6 carriers falling like that is really quite painful. I think I would have preferred seeing an Archon Immortal Mothership Bowl instead. That more like new school style that we've seen Protoss players experiment with lately. Anyways, we do have a big attack coming in right now. Shin somehow, some way, getting almost like a surround with Lurkers. Classic is backing off. He does not have a Greater Spire, does he? No, I would love to see a Greater Spire. So these Corruptors could be morphed into something a little bit better. Now we're getting into that weird spot, though, where the main, the natural, and the 3rd for our Protoss are running out. And Classic really needs another base here within the next minute or so. There's the Greater Spire coming up. I think it's an excellent choice. Oh, Stasis? Oh, that's Stasis. Okay. Almost a disaster right here for Shin, but not quite. Mama Ship, nowhere to be seen. Carrier here, battery overcharged, so it does stay alive. There's a lot of Templar available, but like no real firepower in this Protoss army. Ha. Okay, Zealots coming in for the flank? I want to believe, but it's just all a little bit disjointed. Shindo is going to need his reinforcements. He did end up losing a lot of his Corruptors there. You know what? Classic actually does hold. And that is probably the most important hold for this entire game. Because if he would have lost that fight, I think it's basically him losing the game. He needs another base and he needs it quick, or he needs to go for an all-in. But soon he's going to be fighting into a Zerg player who is not just going to have Lurkers, but also Brute Lords. And Brute Lord Lurker is like the perfect unit composition when it comes to dealing with ground units. Yeah, you can't really attack into that. And maybe that's what Classic was worried for, right? He knew about the Spire, of course. He knew that Lurkers were going to be likely. Maybe he thought it was going to be Brute Lord Lurker right from the start. And maybe that explains why he decided to go straight into carriers. I mean, it was very close to working out, though, to be fair. It was very close to working out in his favor. Lovely little Zergling run-by. That is actually a killer run-by right there from Shin. Doesn't look very significant, but again, he's buying time. And while this is all going on, look at this. This is the income advantage right here for Shin, but more or less it's really the income plummet for Classic. He's losing about 1,800 resources more a minute right now. At least comparatively to his opponent. Still though, he's alive. Rather than going for additional Vipers, SHIN is going to go into the Infestor, which is a bit of an interesting choice. I don't believe you research Neural Parasite. No, so it's just going to be for Fungal. Obviously, though, if you get a Fungal off on a bunch of these ground units and then the Lurkers and the Brute Lords get close, they get absolutely demolished when they can't run. It's also good, I guess, for Microbial Shroud, right, guys? Everybody loves Microbial Shroud. Best ability in the game. Are we not gonna try and shut this down, SHIN? I think we are. Yeah, he's mostly just testing the waters while remaxing. Okay. Well, I don't think you want to give him too much time, because now suddenly the carriers are coming up 3 at a time. Again, if Classic goes up to like 8+ carriers, and we're like 1 production cycle away from that being the case, suddenly this army here for the Protoss becomes so much more terrifying. It's interesting to me how some of the top tier Protosses though are a big fan of going into the Mama ship, and then others just refuse to make it all together. For 300 minerals, 300 gas, in my mind, it's a bit of a no-brainer. It would have been incredibly good in this game. But apparently Classic is in the Protoss camp of, nope, we do not touch that unit with a 10-foot pole. Or, as we say in the Netherlands, a 3-meter pole. With a couple additional centimeters. Yeah, that's what we say. Or as Mike Tyson would... Everybody's got a plan until the mothership punches them in the mouth. Ooh, most cursed looking set of unit frames ever. A Nexus. That's how the first Terran was born. A Nexus and a Hatchery merged into one. Okay. Trying his very best. There's the abductions. Oh, we already had Vipers too. Fair enough. Why are we out here? Classic, why are we here? Why are we here? Where are we going? What's the point of all of this? Where were we before all of this began? No, there was really no reason to go out here onto the map. I think he really wanted to try and get a kill on that base, but there is no base. He already sniped it. So there was no real reason to hang out on that section of the map. And honestly, those Vipers are just such a good initiator of the combat, right? Stargate now going to go into Tempest. Very, fair enough. Good, I guess, against Brute Lords, but that was the first time I think he realized he's playing against Brute Lords. Maybe I've been too critical, but I haven't really liked these last, I don't know, 10 minutes for Classic. And he's still alive, he's still in the game. I just feel like this is all leading towards a very inevitable result, and this might just be it. Beautiful fight right here by SHIN. I mentioned earlier that in game number 1, maybe he just didn't want to play the macro game. Maybe he's not currently comfortable playing the macro game against Protoss, but I think this game shows us that nope, that is not the case. Really well done right here by the Zerg player. I think there were opportunities for Classic to crawl back into the game. He did do a bunch of damage, by the way, on the other side of the map too with Zealot run-bys, but I mean the supply count here is not deceiving us. There is really no way here. I mean, he's got a Carrier and a Tempest and a Dream. A Carrier, a Tempest, and a Dream is a beautiful story, but soon it's just going to be a Carrier and a Dream. And I feel like after that, it's just going to be a Dream. Here's the Swarm showing up. 39 probes, 42 probes end up going down. Classic is being shut down, and it's SHIN who qualifies for the GSL Code S. That's gonna be a frustrating set of games though right here for Classic. So this was the second out of 2 qualifiers for the GSL Code S season. On the first day, Classic got beaten by Ryung 2-1, and then he also got beaten by Su 2-0. So that was his first day chances of qualifying for the GSL gone. And then in day 2, yeah, he ended up getting beaten by SHIN, and that means that with the upcoming season of the GSL, sadly, we will not be seeing Classic. Certainly a bit of an upset there. I think a lot of people expected one of the world's greatest Protoss players to make it out, but apparently not this time around. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. I mean, it would have been an upset too, I guess, if SHIN didn't make it out, because SHIN has been very, very good for a long time. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please take the 1 second that it takes to hit the like button down below. And if you really enjoyed it, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get notified as soon as future videos go live. In case you're unfamiliar, by the way, I have a second YouTube channel too, where I upload a ton of content. Pretty much no StarCraft 2, although there are a couple of custom campaigns, I guess, that I played. There's a link down below in the description of this video. It's youtube.com/morelowko. For now, though, have a great rest of your day. Don't forget to smile. And I hope to see you once again very soon for another video.